Imagine a country rich in gold yet burdened by poverty, while foreign corporations walk away with the lion's share of its wealth. Sounds like a plot from a dystopian novel, right? Sadly, it's the daily reality for many African nations. But this story is taking a sharp turn, and it's starting in Burkina Faso. Under President Ibrahim Traoré, this West African nation is rewriting the rules and challenging the very system that kept it dependent for decades. Burkina Faso is no longer asking for change. It's building it with gold, sovereignty, and vision. President Ibrahim Traoré has made a bold and unprecedented move. He banned all gold exports. Why? To keep Burkina Faso's wealth within its borders and use that gold to back a new, sovereign currency. In a world where even the US dollar is no longer backed by gold, this is more than symbolic, it's strategic. With foreign reserves projected to dry up as soon as June, Burkina Faso isn't waiting for a miracle or a bailout. It's taking matters into its own hands, choosing to harness its resources to stabilize its economy and reclaim its independence. This isn't just about economics, it's a declaration of sovereignty. This decision is just one part of a sweeping reform. The government has also established the Treasury Deposit Bank and launched Burkina Faso's first national gold refinery, giving the state full control over the entire value chain, from mine to market. It's a move that cuts out foreign middlemen and redirects profits back into the country. For decades, foreign companies dominated Burkina Faso's gold sector, extracting billions while locals saw little benefit. Traoré's government is now flipping that script. By cracking down on illegal smuggling, dismantling corruption, and nationalizing the gold supply chain, Burkina Faso is taking direct control of its economic future. This gold export ban also helps build a critical gold reserve, which could serve as the foundation for a gold-backed national currency. A move that could break the country's reliance on the volatile CFA franc and reduce dependency on Western-controlled financial institutions. It's about financial self-determination and, more importantly, restoring African dignity. Corruption in the mining sector has long plagued Burkina Faso. But with these reforms, the government is tightening regulation, increasing transparency, and redirecting revenues into infrastructure, healthcare, and education, not foreign bank accounts. This strategy reflects a broader awakening across Africa. From Burkina Faso to Niger, Mali to Guinea, leaders are rising who reject foreign domination and choose to put their people first. They're confronting centuries of exploitation with bold policies that prioritize self-sufficiency and long-term stability over short-term gains. Burkina Faso's reforms send a powerful message to other African nations. True independence starts when you control your resources. And as we've said before, the day countries like Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa follow suit is the day Africa's full potential will ignite. Burkina Faso is no longer waiting for Western permission to rise. It's doing the work, project by project, reform by reform. And while Western media may spin this as reckless or dangerous, what we're witnessing is a peaceful revolution built on self-reliance, integrity, and vision. So, the question remains, is Burkina Faso leading a gold-backed rebellion against the global financial system? Now, let's explore the role of the Treasury Deposit Bank in Burkina Faso's bold new reform agenda. The Treasury Deposit Bank, or BDT, is more than just another financial institution. It's a symbol of Burkina Faso's break from financial dependence. Officially inaugurated on August 2, 2024, the BDT has become a central pillar in the country's pursuit of economic sovereignty. This state-owned bank was created to serve a wide range of stakeholders, from government agencies and state-owned enterprises to local communities, NGOs, international bodies, private businesses, and even individual citizens. With its services ranging from account management and resource collection to digital transactions, the BDT aims to centralize and streamline financial activity across the nation. But it's not just about centralization. It's about transparency, efficiency, and control. One of the standout features of the BDT is its commitment to digital innovation. As the world rapidly embraces fintech and digital payments, Burkina Faso is ensuring it doesn't get left behind. The BDT is paving the way for digital banking services that can expand financial access, especially to underserved communities, and help boost economic participation across all levels of society. Even more significantly, the Treasury Deposit Bank has been tasked with managing the public treasury, overseeing how government funds are collected, spent, and monitored. By consolidating public finance under one institution, Burkina Faso is tightening its grip on governance and eliminating avenues for mismanagement and corruption. And here's where it gets even more strategic. The Treasury Deposit Bank is at the heart of Burkina Faso's gold-backed currency initiative. Yes, you heard that right. Gold is no longer just a mineral under the soil. It's becoming the foundation of the nation's financial future. By managing gold reserves directly and integrating them into the monetary system, the Treasury Deposit Bank supports a national strategy that seeks to stabilize the currency and break away from the dependency on foreign-controlled currencies like the CFA franc. This move isn't just financial, it's political, it's Pan-African, it's revolutionary. With institutions like the Treasury Deposit Bank, Burkina Faso is gradually reducing its reliance on external financial systems, especially those dominated by Western powers. The aim is clear: financial autonomy, policy independence, and national dignity. Now let's talk about the gold refinery, another game changer. Just days after the gold export ban, Burkina Faso unveiled its first ever national gold refinery, based in Ouagadougou, capable of refining up to 400 kilograms of gold per day. This facility is a major leap toward value addition within the country's most precious industry. For decades, raw gold was exported out of Burkina Faso, often cheaply, while foreign entities raked in the real profits through refining and resale. That ends now. With this refinery in operation, Burkina Faso retains more value from every ounce of gold it extracts. Not only does this improve the trade balance, but it also strengthens the country's ability to fund development from its own resources. This is about cutting out the middlemen, building domestic capacity, and owning the entire gold supply chain, from mine to market. Under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is building real institutions that reflect real independence. From financial reforms to resource control, this is what African sovereignty looks like in action. And remember, this story isn't just about Burkina Faso. It's about the future of the entire continent. Do you believe this model could work in Nigeria, Ghana, or the DR Congo? Could this be the beginning of Africa's financial revolution? In addition to refining gold, Burkina Faso's new facility is expected to deliver massive economic value. Producing roughly 400 kilograms of gold per day, the refinery will significantly boost the national budget, helping fund vital infrastructure projects, education, healthcare, and other development initiatives. With an annual refining capacity of 150 tons, the refinery's output will become a key pillar in Burkina Faso's financial framework, driving sustainable growth across multiple sectors. The first batch of 22-karat gold bars is expected to roll out within just 11 months, marking a new era of economic self-reliance for the nation. But the impact doesn't end with revenue. The refinery is set to create at least 100 direct jobs and up to 5,000 indirect jobs, bringing meaningful employment opportunities to Ouagadougou and surrounding regions. At the launch ceremony, President Ibrahim Traoré made Burkina Faso's stance unmistakably clear. There's no longer any question of us taking our gold abroad for refining. We'll refine it on site because we know the true content of what comes out of our soil. And that is extremely important. This statement strikes at the heart of Burkina Faso's transformation, reclaiming control over its resources. In 2022 alone, the country produced 57.6 tons of gold, despite a slight drop from the previous year. Yet for decades, the majority of this wealth benefited foreign powers, not the Burkinabe people. Currently, 10 industrial gold mines operate in the country, with Canadian companies controlling over 63%, Russian firms about 18%, and Burkina Faso itself holding a mere 9%. The decision to refine gold locally is a critical step toward flipping that balance of power. This policy also fits into a broader continental shift. Across Africa, resource-rich countries are waking up to the true cost of exporting raw materials. For years, raw African gold was shipped to refineries in places like Switzerland or China, where the real value was added and retained abroad. Today, nations like Mali are beginning to follow Burkina Faso's lead. In fact, Mali recently signed an agreement with Russia to build its own gold refinery, aiming to become Africa's third-largest gold producer by 2022. Beyond economic logic, local refining tackles a major issue: illicit gold exports. By processing gold within its own borders, Burkina Faso can better track and regulate the entire gold supply chain, reducing smuggling and corruption. This improved oversight ensures that more revenue stays in the country, funding national priorities and increasing accountability in the sector. The ripple effects on local economies are also significant. From construction to logistics and local vendors, the refinery's presence stimulates a range of secondary industries, driving regional economic growth and empowering communities around Ouagadougou. Crucially, the refinery's role goes beyond economics. It's strategic. It supports Burkina Faso's plan to adopt a gold-backed currency, part of a broader vision to stabilize the national economy and achieve true monetary sovereignty. This aligns with President Traoré's overall economic reform agenda: build domestic capacity, own national wealth, and reject dependency. In essence, Burkina Faso is rewriting the playbook. Through bold leadership, it's confronting long-standing issues in the gold sector, from foreign exploitation to corruption, and offering a blueprint for others to follow. And the results are beginning to speak for themselves. But to fully understand the magnitude of what's unfolding, we need to step back and look at the bigger picture. What do Burkina Faso's reforms say about the future of African governance? In the past 17 years, Africa as a whole has made notable progress in governance, as shown by multiple governance indicators. More and more countries are now taking firm control of their resources, reshaping trade policies, and reimagining development from the inside out. Burkina Faso's economic reforms are not occurring in isolation. They are part of a growing continental movement. Across Africa, countries like Nigeria, Uganda, Tanzania, and Madagascar are adopting similar strategies aimed at reclaiming control over their natural resources and reducing their dependency on foreign financial systems. At the core of this shift is a strategic return to gold, a historically stable asset that many African governments now view as a safeguard against inflation, currency devaluation, and the political weaponization of global currencies like the US dollar. In response to increasing global financial uncertainty, these nations are diversifying their reserves and exploring gold-backed currencies to achieve greater economic resilience and sovereignty. This is more than economic policy. It's a declaration of independence. By moving away from monetary systems rooted in colonial-era frameworks, African nations are positioning themselves to reshape their financial futures. The decision by Burkina Faso to ban raw gold exports and establish a domestic refinery is a textbook example of how resource-rich countries can retain value locally while asserting control over their wealth. Such measures reflect a deeper shift across the continent, a growing awareness that true development must be built on strategic resource management and local value addition, rather than exporting raw materials and importing finished goods, a cycle that benefits foreign powers. Countries are now working to own every step of the value chain. And this is just the beginning. While critics often focus on Africa's challenges, and there are many, these bold reforms signal a rising generation of leaders and citizens who are actively reclaiming their narratives and redefining what's possible. President Ibrahim Traoré's approach represents a broader awakening, not just for Burkina Faso, but for a continent ready to move beyond dependency. However, this transformation won't come without risks and obstacles. Transitioning to a gold-backed currency introduces several critical challenges that must be addressed. While gold is generally seen as a stable asset, its value can still fluctuate based on global markets, investor sentiment, and geopolitical events. These fluctuations can pose a threat to the stability of a gold-backed currency, particularly if the country lacks effective tools to manage monetary shocks. Gold is a finite resource, and its availability is crucial for sustaining a gold-backed monetary system. If reserves are depleted or insufficient, it could undermine public trust and create instability. This makes strategic reserve management, including gold acquisition and storage, a top priority. Moving from a fiat currency to one backed by gold is not a simple switch. It requires overhauling monetary policies, building regulatory infrastructure, and creating new financial systems to support the change. This can be both costly and time-consuming, requiring political will, expertise, and strong institutional support. Let's be honest, international financial institutions and dominant global economies may not welcome these moves. Countries that assert too much monetary independence often face external pressure, ranging from economic sanctions to reduced access to global markets. Navigating these geopolitical risks will require careful diplomacy and strategic alliances. Yet, despite these challenges, the determination to chart a new economic course remains strong. Burkina Faso's reforms have shown that bold leadership, when paired with strategic planning, can begin to unravel decades of economic dependency. As more African nations join this movement, they send a powerful message. Africa is ready to lead, not just follow. Is the West convinced that Burkina Faso has adequately prepared for the challenges ahead, or do they see potential gaps in its planning? The United States, in particular, has expressed a vested interest in Africa's future, closely monitoring developments on the continent. Burkina Faso's recent economic pivot marks a significant move towards self-sufficiency and long-term resilience. By moving away from outdated colonial-era financial structures and taking greater control over its natural resources, Burkina Faso is offering a compelling model for other African nations. Its reforms reflect a broader vision of economic liberation and sustainable growth, underpinned by strategic planning and assertive policymaking. As the country continues down this bold path, it stands as a beacon of what's possible when a nation prioritizes sovereignty and innovative economic thinking. But this raises critical questions. Will Burkina Faso be able to fulfill its ambitious goals? And why does the success or failure of this plan seem to matter so much to the West? Tell us what you think in the comments section below. We explore the rich history, culture, and the ongoing struggle for sovereignty in Africa. Join us in this important conversation by subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you're not just staying informed, you're becoming part of a movement dedicated to reclaiming Africa's rightful place on the global stage. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Let's work together to spread knowledge and inspire change. Thanks for watching.